Welcome into episode 108 of JD's Empire Sports Talk. I apologize if the audio is a little off. There's some malfunctions I've been dealing with, trying to get this thing up and running. That's why when you guys see it, it's actually going to be after 8 on YouTube because I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully, you guys can hear me good. I'm sure you're able to hear me okay. It could be better. This microphone's kind of going in and out, so it's a little unfortunate. But for this episode, we're here to talk about the MLB. I'm gonna do just an MLB prediction, just in terms of what's gonna happen with the standings. And if you guys do miss the episode itself, we're gonna put that out on Instagram tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m. We're gonna do 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, and 6. So there'll be 2 hours in between each post that goes out there in regards to the MLB. My predictions with the standings. But yeah, opening day, Wednesday night, of course, because the Yankees do play the Giants Wednesday night. But Thursday is when everyone else opens up. Mets versus Pirates. Of course, I'm a Mets fan, so that's what I'm going to be, excuse me, but looking forward to is the Mets versus the Pirates. But there's other great matchups that are going to be, on along the way. Also, the debut of NBC, which is, huge. NBC doing baseball, which is something that's never happened before, at least for a while. That's going to be really, really fun. There's some other things that are just going to be some fun also along the way. I'm very, very excited for baseball. When the season ends, especially the way it did for the Mets, you always look at it and you're like, oh damn, I'm pissed, because we were pissed. We were all pissed last year. Just the way that thing ended, it didn't end the way it was supposed to end. It was just unfortunate. But we look back at it now and we're like, okay, then we moved on. We're ready for what's coming next. So Mets look totally different. I'll talk about more about that tomorrow night with Biggie, episode 109. But tonight we'll just do the standings. Let's start in the NL East. In the NL East, I actually think the Braves are going to win the division. I know last year was a very, very down year for the Braves, but it was just injuries. It really wasn't anything else, I think. They were banged up everywhere. Everywhere they were banged up, especially, that lineup started to fall apart a little bit towards the end of the season. There were some unrecognizable faces. Even the pitching kind of, it happened to a little earlier. The bats a little later. But still, they lost a lot of guys to injuries. And, they're going to be good. I think they're going to win the division. Then I got the Mets second, but the Phillies in a close third. I think they can actually have the same record, and maybe the Mets just get a tiebreaker or something. I don't really see them being that far apart. Even from the Braves, I don't think those two teams would be far from the Braves. I think this is going to be a really top three, all going for the division title when it's all said and done. I don't think it's like a one. All the Braves got it by far. Definitely don't think that's the case. And then you got the Marlins and the Nationals, usual at the two at the bottoms, usual what's going on with them. But to me, Braves are just prime for a bounce back. Like I just said before, I think they just got a ton of players that are coming back. I know they do have some injuries already hit them, but I think they're just over the long haul of the year, they're going to be just fine. And the Braves don't have two bad seasons in a row. That does not happen with them. And then with the Mets and the Phillies, I think neck and neck, like I was just saying. And then the Marlins and the Nationals remain low. But I think both of those teams could have some improvement. More Marlins than anything. I mean, the Marlins almost won 80 games. I don't think that was expected at all, from who they had on that roster. And they have some good young talent there. They added a few more just in terms of young players. And young players they have on this year's opening day that they didn't have up last year. There's some players that they brought up that are going to be big. So Braves, Mets, Phillies, Marlins, and Nationals in the NL East. And then we got the NL Central where you have the Cubs. I believe the Cubs are going to have a really good year again. I know they lost Kyle Tucker, but they brought in Alex Bregman, traded for Edward Cabrera, who's a really, really good, arm. I think that's going to help Chicago a lot. And I just think they got better overall as a team. There's some other under-the-radar moves they made. And the Cubs were good last year. You lose Kyle Tucker, you bring in Bregman. That's you're not a loss there. I don't think you're at a loss. You may not be at an upgrade, but you're kind of the same, at least a possible upgrade. And for Chicago, their worst position last year was third base. We look at it. I remember there was a revolving door there. None of those guys can hit at all. And then we have the Brewers in second place. I think the Brewers every year, it doesn't matter who's on that team. They just find a way. And I think they're going to continue to find a way. And the Brewers in second place is always solid. They got rid of some guys this year as well. Freddie Peralta. They got rid of other guys, and they're still going to be fine. Caleb Durbin, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. And then we got the Reds in third place. I think the Reds are going to take a little bit of a step forward. Last year, they did make the playoffs. Obviously, they didn't win anything, but they did make it. I think they can take a little more of a step forward, maybe a few more wins, but more so the win total that they had. Then the Pirates in fourth. I think the Pirates are also going to improve a little bit. Not a lot, not a substantial improvement, but a decent improvement. They're really good pitching staff. I know they added some guys to the lineup. I just don't think that lineup is good enough anyway, even with the additions. Of O'Hearn and Lau and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be enough. And then we got the Cardinals in last. Cardinals are going to be terrible. They might be up there one of the worst, in the entire league this year. The Rockies, I think they'll be there with them, which I'll get to in a second. But them and the Rockies, I believe those two will be the worst in the league. Then we have the NL West, where we have, of course, the Dodgers. I have this down here. Dodgers will be the only team in the National League to win the division by double-digit games. They're going to be just fine. They're just a great team, and they just added to it, and they only got better. Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz, who are already back-to-back World Series championship team. Padres in second. I know the Padres are always projected to be good, and they just kind of fizzle out for the most part. But I think the change of coaching, Craig Stammen, who was a player himself, which, of course, the old guy was not. The last coach the Padres had, Mike Schultz, was not a player himself. So I think that's going to go well for the San Diego Padres. And I like what – the roster is good. They have a good roster. They just need someone to actually get to, coach them up a little bit. And I think Stammen's going to do that. I think he's going to shock some people. A potential, manager of the year candidate. Then we got the Diamondbacks in third. I don't think they're going to be that far back from, San Diego, but not close enough to really get to them. Then the Giants. I don't know what to expect from them. They kind of have like a lot of role players, no stars. Tony Vitello, first-year coach, MLB coach, I should say. In the pros, that's another thing we never really. I don't think we've ever seen that before. And then the Rockies in last. Rockies are just gonna suck once again. It does not matter who they have on that team; they're just not good. Then in the AL, we have the Blue Jays winning the AL East, so I think they're gonna do it. Once again, they're loaded. They're a loaded team, and they really didn't get worse. They added some more guys, and I know I haven't really name dropped that many players yet. But I don't think anyone's gonna have a bigger impact than Dylan Cease is going to have with the Blue Jays. I think that was the one thing they kind of lacked last year, a true ace. Yeah, they had your Savage come on strong, which wasn't expected, and then he came on quick. Barrios is a good pitcher. They have a lot of, obviously, talent, but I think they lack that number one, and now they have it in Dylan Cease, who, when he's on, he's really, really good, especially with the strikeouts. He can rack up strikeout after strikeout if he's really, locked in. Then we have the Yankees in second. Yankees are running it back with the same team they pretty much had post-deadline, which is when they started playing. They played good ball all year, but I think they started playing better baseball, after that. So I think that the Yankees will be in second. Then we got the Red Sox in third. I'm very high on the Red Sox. I was very close to putting them second, but I think the young talent on their roster, they may not start out the season strong, but they're going to end it strong. So I think that Boston third for now, but that could definitely change. Then the Orioles in fourth, do I think they're going to improve a little bit? That just division is very, very tough. And then we got the Rays in last. I don't think the Rays are going to have a good year, but also the Rays have good years no matter who's on their roster. Not recently, not last year, I should say. They do have some players there, so I wouldn't be shocked if they, do something that's not expected. Then the AL Central, I think the Tigers win this one easily. I'm not going to say double digits like the Dodgers, but I think that the Tigers are going to win pretty easily. Royals in second. Really like the Royals pitching, underrated pitching, but their lineup, we know if their lineup's going to provide. They have Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, who could still play at that age. Michael Garcia came on last year. You got Vinny Pasquantino, another year of Jack Caglione now in his second, year. Really getting going, first full year for Caglione. So they got a lineup. Their pitching is underrated. And for this division as a whole, I think Tigers and Royals are head and shoulders above. But the Royals aren't at the Tigers level just yet. But also, you don't know what the Tigers are going to do with the deadline. They can still be in playoff contention. No, they're not re-signing Skubal, and they just trade him. That kind of can hurt them a little bit in terms of what they're going to do for the playoffs. And then we got the Guardians in third. Their lineup is going to be poor. I was going to say, they usually are not really a good hitting team. I think that's going to be the same this year. They're not going to score much, but their pitching is going to be okay. That puts them in third to me. White Sox will improve, but still not obviously a lot. They'll be in fourth. And then I got the Twins in last. They traded, I remember, 10 guys off the roster last year at the deadline, and then they just continue to be worse, I think, than they are. And I don't think they're going to be anything. I think the White Sox finally get out of the cellar. Then the AL West, Mariners in first. They have pretty much the same team that they had last year. Very clear favorite. I think they're extremely in the American League. They should be the most favored team to win the division. Then we got the Rangers in second. But I wrote here 2 through 4 could be a toss up at this point because there's a few unknowns. There's a lot you don't know right now. Rangers, I think they can be okay, but I think second through fourth is 80, mid 80s or less. For all three of those teams. Then we got the Athletics in third, which I know Athletics, yes, from recent years they've stunk, but they have a lineup. They have a really good lineup, and I think they're going to continue to get better. I like them in third. Astros in fourth. I don't know what to expect from them. I know they're getting Yordan Alvarez back. Their lineup is okay. It's not as deep as it used to be. Pitching is a little questionable for Houston. But I think 2 through 4, though, would be like 85 at most, probably in that 81 to 85 win range. And then we get the Angels, who suck. Obviously, they're in last. And I forgot to do this before, but the AL wildcard teams I would have, obviously the Blue Jays, Tigers, and Mariners would win the division. Then the wildcard teams I would have is the Yankees, Red Sox, and then I have the Royals and the Rangers there as those two teams that are going to battle it out probably in the mid 80s. I think the Yankees and the Red Sox win closer, if not 90 games, closer to 90 games. Then in the National League, my wildcard teams are the Mets and Phillies. It's all the Braves in there because I know I have the Braves in first, but I think all three of those teams can easily win the division. And then the Padres and the Brewers battling for that last spot. But I think the National League wildcards will be much more competitive than what the American League can provide. I know we didn't talk much Mets on this show tonight. I want to save that more for tomorrow because that's obviously how you doing segment. I'll definitely dive into the Mets in terms of what they did with the roster. Some guys got injured, so that provided a definite opportunity for some other guys. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, a little brief episode, nothing crazy, 15 minutes or so. The standings, my predictions for the standings. This is episode 108. Tomorrow will be episode 109, which me and Biggie will be on doing that. Tomorrow will just be me posting. You'll see it. Posting the predictions. We're gonna read off what I just read off to you guys now, but that'll be going out tomorrow if you guys missed the show or you just kind of want to see it on social media, which I understand. Those will go out every 2 hours starting at 8 a.m. Then tomorrow night we'll start our show at 7:30 like usual. I'm not sure when exactly we're going to do the next Knicks stream. Trying to figure that out. I do want to do one more before the season is over. And then also we have something in the works, not a definite yet, but we do have something in the works for the NFL draft, perhaps a live show, like a live show, like in-person live show at a location, which we've never done before, which would be very, very fun. We're trying to put some of the pieces together for that. When we can actually get it together, I will reach out. And it'll be out there. You guys will know, and I would hope, if you like, come out and support us. Not sure who would be there exactly for the crew wise. There's another thing I got to work on, but we have a little bit of time. We have a little over a month to figure that out. And by the time we get to that point, we will enjoy ourselves at the highest level. But that's gonna do it for episode 108. Thank you guys for watching. To support the social medias, all that good stuff. And see you guys.